Ampadu, Junior Firpo across the back, Ilya Gruyev and Glenn Kamara, the holding midfielders, and then Archie Gray, Wilfred Gnonto and Crescencio Somerville behind Jorginho Ruta. Both teams in their first choice colours, Norwich in the canary yellow and green, Leeds in all white, and it's Jorginho Ruta who will get things underway. We're sat at the back of the main City stand here, away to our left the Barclay end, to our right the River end, and it's the River end that Norwich will be attacking in the first half. Away to our right, Leeds in all white have got us underway on TalkSport, and the Championship playoffs commence. West Brom against Southampton coming up for you live for you straight after this commentary as well, and Leeds coming forward early on with Archie Gray dispossessed, and Kenny McLean looks to put Josh Sargent over the top as Leeds are pushed up to halfway, but the ball just drifted away from the American, and Junior Firpo can guide the ball back to Ilan Meslier, the Leeds United keeper. So we're in the first minute. Scott Minto alongside me for the ride this afternoon, and Leeds coming forward, and Gnonto tries to turn it around the corner, but Norwich win it back.
Yeah, it's been Leeds so far with the possession, but I tell you what, again, I thought it'd be Norwich going at Leeds and Leeds perhaps trying to counter-attack, but Norwich had a great opportunity there to play the ball over the top. It was almost a one-on-one situation, and Josh Sargent came short to go long, and if the ball had been better in behind, he would have got hold of, or got in behind Ethan Ampadu, who was already holding on to him, would have had a decision to make, but in the end that ball over the top wasn't good enough. So it's been a very open start already from both sides.
Norwich protecting a very, very good record here at Carrow Road, 16 unbeaten for the Canaries, but Leeds United have won the last 4 against Norwich. Kenny McLean, their captain, bulldozing his way through midfield for Norwich and releasing Borth the Saints down the left hand side, controls it down by the corner flag, faced up by Sam Byram, and Sam Byram trying to prevent the corner, but it's been given Norwich's way at the River end. Minute and a half gone, 0-0.
Yeah, great atmosphere here, isn't it? And Norwich just getting hold of the ball then and getting down their left hand side. Good defending from Sam Byram. We talked about the importance of set pieces. First one of the game.
And Marcelino Nunez is going over to where the River end meets the south stand, away to our right hand side on the far side of the field from us, to swing in a right footed corner, a packed 6-yard box in front of that goal at the River end. Meslier just bouncing up and down on his goal line, whips in near post and flicked on by a Norwich player, but Gnonto was able to hook it clear, but Norwich will win it back through Borth the Saints. Good industry from him, now charging towards the edge of the area, flicks it right for Jonathan Rowe. First start since January for Rowe, trying to get outside his man Firpo and whip a cross in, but it's come back off the former Barcelona man and out for a Norwich throw, 0-0.
Yeah, again now Norwich just starting to get hold of the ball, and it's Leeds who are under pressure. Very important for Leeds United not to concede early. Already the atmosphere is great here. One thing they don't want to do is allow Norwich to get that goal and get the fans even more behind them.
Jack Stacey making his 50th appearance for Norwich today, takes the throw, but Leeds win it back. Firpo trying to guide it down this near left-hand touchline for Leeds. Suspicion of handball by Archie Gray, nothing doing, says referee Josh Smith. Firpo passes it infield to Marcelino Nunez, who just fancied a crack at goal as the ball ran across his body from right to left, 25 yards out, skewed it horribly out. Has that gone out for a throw rather than a goal kick? I think it has, 0-0.
Yeah, it's come up with the outside of his left foot. Worth a pop. It would have been some strike from there, and technique the way the ball was coming at him, but it's spun off his foot. It's pretty wide, that dance. It's a throw-in.
Minto-esque, that. 3.5
I resent that remark.
Thrown in by Sam Byram as Leeds restart play. On TalkSport in the EFL Championship playoffs for the right to go to Wembley at the back end of May on Whitsun Bank Holiday weekend. And it's bank holiday weather.
It's a beautiful day, it really is. It's not too hot, but the sun is shining. That big bright yellow thing has decided to finally come out. I'll tell you what, everyone in this ground is up for this.
Thunderstorms on the way, I'm told, but for now, East Anglia is picture perfect.
Let's talk about the here and now then.
Leeds fans opposite us in the south stand, in that corner nearest to the Barclay end. They've got plenty to say as well in these early stages. Terrific atmosphere. Game's yet to really settle though. 0-0 the score. 4 minutes gone on TalkSport. Leeds trying to pressurise Norwich inside their own half, and that led to a foul. And Jonathan Rowe was taken out, and that's quickly taken free kick for Norwich, and Nunez, who likes to come and split the two centre-halves to receive possession deep for Norwich, finds Shane Duffy. Duffy just drifts away from Rutter and fires a diagonal ball down the left-hand side. Giannoulis might get him behind because the ball was headed back to him by Byram, and Giannoulis anticipated that and very nearly got to it ahead of Illan Meslier at the edge of the Leeds box, but Leeds clear. Nonso, good skill from him, but he gets up to halfway and Ben Gibson steers it away from him. But Leeds in their all-white kit win it back. Now Nonso down the right-hand side, first chance to run it. Giannoulis gets to the right-hand corner of the box, pulls it back. Rutter with a swing and a miss around the penalty spot. It was a perfect chance to guide the shot goalwards, and he was being pressurised, but he completely missed the shot. And it's out to play for a Leeds goal on this near side, 0-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, at both ends we nearly got a goal, didn't we? It's a fullback's nightmare when that high ball comes across and you're heading it back to your goalkeeper, and you're absolutely right. That was well read, but Meslier got there first.
Nonso again down the right-hand side, up against both the sides, gets into the area, goes down. No penalty, says the referee. Now Rutter trying to jink his way down the penalty area right-hand side, but Giannoulis stuck with him, and in the end the ball goes out for a goal kick. And the Leeds fans opposite us remonstrate with the assistant and the referee, feeling they should have had a penalty, 0-0.
Well, Nonso can't believe it. He's cut inside, he's got into the box. Look, I tell you what.
Well, Sainz has got his left arm on the shoulder of Nonso.
He hasn't got anything of the ball. He really hasn't. He's got his arm up, both arms up. He's gone for the tackle. He's not got the ball. He's got Nonso. Is it enough contact? That's the question the referee's asking. And I think in a game as serious as this, he needs to be 100% sure, the referee. But it's a penalty for me.
Don't forget, we are in a VAR-free zone, at least in the semi-finals. When the final comes around and VAR kicks in the EFL playoffs these days.
I know you love VAR, Dan.
Oh, yeah, we've got a long-standing relationship. Here's Ben Gibson for Norwich, midway point of his own half. Trots toward the halfway line. Now Nonso comes to close him down. He tries to chip it down the left-hand side, but puts his hands on top of his head, Ben Gibson, as he gets it all wrong, and it just bounces twice and through to Meslier, 0-0.
I'll tell you one battle I'm looking at, and I do think it's a key one. There's more than just one, of course, but it is Jack Stacey, who's very experienced, knows what it's like to get promoted as well, but up against Somerville, who, have to say, in both the games tore him to shreds, really. So I think if he is to keep Somerville quiet, then there's every chance Norwich can get a really good result out of this game.
Norwich finished 17 points behind Leeds United in the final standings after 46 games, which is the biggest gap that's ever been between a third and sixth place finisher since the Championship came into being as a rebrand 20 years ago. But the playoffs is no respecter of points gaps.
No. And as a player, that would absolutely tear you apart, the fact that you finished 17 points above a team and yet you get knocked out in the playoff semi-final. So it's another...
Them's the rules.
Absolutely. it's another reason why the Leeds United players should be so determined to make sure it doesn't happen.
Byram plays it down the right-hand side for Leeds United. 8 minutes gone, 0-0. Nonso puts the ball into the box. It was awkward for Rutter as he span and tried to bring it down inside the box. Heavy touch allowed Norwich to get it clear. But Joe Rodon will try and win possession back for Leeds United. Good industry from both the sides, and then in slides Rutter trying to win it back. And Nunez will just tap it back to Shane Duffy at the edge of his own penalty area. And he tries to release Jack Stacey down the right-hand side, up against the other number 3 out there, Junior Firpo. Stacey down to the corner flag at the river end, tries to rip the crossing, did get the crossing, but the deflection of Firpo made it easier for Ampadu to deal with. And then Meslier with a first-time left-footed clearance, doesn't make halfway, but Leeds do get it back through Glenn Kamara. Rutter inside his own half, dispossessed. Nunez will release Gabriel Sara down the right-hand side. Very left-footed player, jinks onto his left foot now, tries to dink the cross, and it's cleared out as far as Kenny McLean. Off to Scotland, I assume. Off to the Euros, rather, with Scotland. And of course the Euros, we're all over it on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. What a team we've assembled, including David Moyes, Emmanuel Petit and many others joining the fun. It starts on the 14th of June. Don't miss it. We've got every game for you live on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 throughout the tournament. Scotland going to be a big part of it, Scott Minto.
Yes, they are, and it's going to be a heck of an opening game, isn't it, against Germany? You never know. Could they catch Germany cold?
I'm sure Chris Iwelumo is already dreaming of that. He'll be out there as part of our team watching Scotland. I was with him yesterday, the day after he won his boxing match.
How is he? How did it go?
Actually, he looked remarkably fresh, although he did knock the opponent out in 2 rounds. Who's going to knock the opponent out in this playoff semi-final? Norwich fans delighted as Leeds just passed the ball straight out of play needlessly for a throw, and Norwich had the ball on halfway. We played exactly 10 minutes on Talk Sport in this playoff semi-final first leg at Carrow Road between Norwich and Leeds. Only Leicester conceded fewer goals than Leeds in this season. They're pretty tight and obdurate at the back. Just 43 conceded. Leicester only conceded 41. And Norwich have found it difficult to beat Leeds in recent times.
Yeah, the problem is that how their defence has been in recent games. They've been shipping in goals over the whole season. Very, very good. Just recently, not so good. I'll tell you what's interesting as well. We were wondering where Archie Gray would play, and he's actually playing as that kind of number 10, helping Ruta to try and press as much as they can. Whether he can actually get on the ball, he's not seen too much of it going forward, but he's certainly working hard for Leeds United without it.
Worth reminding that Archie Gray is just 18 years of age. Of course, he's got quite a lineage to work with. Son of Andy Gray, grandson of Frank Gray. So he's got some great provenance behind him, and he's been trusted with a very important role for Leeds United today. It's in the centre circle with Glenn Kamara for Leeds. 0-0 the score. If you're just tuning into Talk Sport this Sunday lunchtime, it's the Championship playoffs. Junior Firpo level with the edge of the Norwich penalty area on this left-hand side, with Leeds attacking the Barclay end in this first period, which is away to our left as Scott and I sit at the back of the City stand here at Carrow Road. Firpo again receives possession. Ruta trying to drift down the left-hand side of the box. Ball's taken off his toe, but a foul by Jonathan Rowe, and that means that Leeds have a free kick almost at the left-hand corner of the penalty area, and a chance to really put one in the mixer here. 0-0 the score.
Yeah, it's a dangerous position, definitely, and it might well be Somerville taking it. Just one of those sort of whip it in, aim for just outside the far post, and if no one touches it, it curls in.
Yeah. Ilya Gruyev, the Bulgarian, just having a chat with Somerville as he spots the ball down. Will be a right-footed delivery from Somerville. Going to try and sweep it in. Norwich trying to hold their line ahead of the 6-yard line. Try and give Angus Young a bit of space with which to see any potential ball that's fizzed in towards him. Gruyev dummies to hit the ball. Somerville does hit it, and it is headed behind by one of those defenders, Jack Stacey, the man who got the header on it. And Leeds have their first corner of the game at 0-0.
Oh, well, that's what he was definitely aiming for. It just wasn't quite high enough. Well defending from Norwich, but a little bit higher, going to the far post. It's such a difficult ball to defend against if the quality is good.
Somerville to take the corner at what they call the snake pit, where the Barclay end meets the City stand, just down to our left-hand side. Right-footed in-swinger into the near post, punched away by Gunn, driven back in by Nonto and blocked by Duffy, and Norwich will try and launch a counter-attack. Giannoulis is up there with Bortha Sainz. Giannoulis, right-hand corner of the penalty areas. Norwich get up the other end, plays it back in field looking for Sainz, but just too far in front of him, and Firpo was back to clear the lines for Leeds United. Swift counter from Norwich, but it comes to nothing. 0-0.
Well, again, both these sides are good on the counter, aren't they? Leeds looking as if they perhaps are going to get the first goal. Well defended, really good counter-attack, and Giannoulis showing fantastic pace down that right-hand side despite him being left back.
Throw to Norwich, 10 yards from the corner flag on this right-hand side as they attack the river end. Thrown into Jonathan Rowe, trying to hold the ball up under pressure from Firpo. Nunez with a great cross into the box, and well defended by Rodon as Sargent was trying to fly across him. Super header from the Welsh defender to get it clear, and out of play for another Norwich throw. 0-0.
Yeah, I suppose what Norwich want, if the cross is going to come in, you avoid Rodon and Sargent, try and get on Ampadu. Both, as a central defensive partnership, have been superb this year, you have to say.
That's why Liam Cooper's been on the bench so often for Leeds, because Rodon and Ampadu, the two Welsh players, have really developed a terrific understanding as a centre-half partnership. Ball's back with Marcelino Nunez, just splitting the Norwich defenders again as he gets up to the halfway line for the Canaries. Rolls the ball into the feet of Sarr. Now Rowe plays it right for Stacey. In space, gets to the byline. Watch the cross line. It's deep to the far post. Sargent goes up and gets something on it, but it skims off his forehead and goes wide. He was under pressure from two Leeds defenders as he went up for the header, but the American misses the target. Quarter of an hour gone on TalkSport. It's Norwich City 0, Leeds United 0. Here's Scott Minto.
Yeah, you know what? It's a really good game, this. Really open. Both teams trying to go out for the win. There's no caginess here at all. And both teams looking dangerous, whether they've got the ball or whether they're on the counter. Really good play from Jack Stacey down the right-hand side. A wonderful cross to the far post. And Sargent just wasn't quite able to get on the end of it. Meslier wasn't coming out. If it had been a powerful header.
Oh, Leeds are mucking about with it at the edge of their own penalty area, and Sargent then gets pushed by Gruyev, and that will be a free kick, and Gabriel Sara is straight over, even though it's to the left of centre, favours the left-footed strike, or the right-footed strike more likely, but Nunez and Sara will have that conversation about who hits this free kick for Norwich City. About, I would say, 30 yards out, Scott Minto.
Yeah, look, there were some times where you can play out from the back, and there's some times where actually you just think to yourself, you know what, that's a good press from the opposition, I'm going to knock it a bit long. And Meslier just forcing it in where there were three Norwich players, and somehow they didn't create the chance there, but there's definitely a very important moment here. What, as you say, 30 yards out, but they'll go for a strike in terms of in front of goal. Yes,
it's parallel with the left-hand upright as we look towards the river end. So Gabriel Sara might just fancy trying to bend this around the wall and try and catch out Meslier at his right-hand post, the Leeds keeper, as he looks at it. The wall for Leeds is just inside the 18-yard box, and there's three Norwich players standing in front of that wall to try and mask Illan Melier's view. Sara goes for it, and he goes along the deck with a daisy cutter, but Meslier plunges to his right and makes a comfortable save. Stays goalless on TalkSport.
Yeah, look, it would have been some strike from there. You're right in terms of it was between the sticks, but to get it up and over or round the wall and to beat Meslier from that distance, I don't think it was ever really going to happen.
Another misplaced pass for Leeds United, this time from Joe Rodon. Out of play for a Norwich throw. You're listening to the EFL Championship playoffs on TalkSport with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. Ian Danter and Scott Minto with you at Carrow Road on this picture perfect Sunday afternoon in Norfolk. Goalless and very, very tense, as you would expect any playoff game to be. And we brought you some brilliant drama already across the TalkSport network in the playoffs, not least Crews come back against Doncaster in League 2, winning on penalties on Friday night to make the final against Crawley Town, and Crawley dismantling MK Dons over two legs. Norwich are picking up a head of steam here, it seems, Scott. They've won another free kick a little bit further back from where they won the previous one, so I'm not sure anybody's going to have a direct shot at goal, but Leeds are being asked some questions here.
No,
0-0.
absolutely, yeah, it's a little bit too far out to have the direct strike, but Borja Sainz looks really up for it today, doesn't he? He's picking up little pockets of space, turning, running, looking sharp, and Leeds United at the moment just not able to get hold of him, giving away another foul.
Well, he's taking a few deliberate steps back from the ball, Marcelino Nunez. He may take this free kick away from Gabriel Sara, as it is slightly further across to the left, so it does favour a right footer even more. Sara moves away, so it will be Nunez. There's a two-man Leeds wall 25 yards out. Nunez actually works it out to the left-hand side in Yanulis. Early ball into the box, put behind for a Norwich City corner, their second of the game. It's 0-0.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to sort of shoot from there, and I suppose they take that with a corner, with set pieces.
Sara's going to go across to that corner where the south stand meets the river end for a left-footed outswinger again. Even though it's an outswinging corner, the 6-yard box very, very busy, densely populated with yellow and green and white shirts. Now one or two drifting out towards the penalty spot in Norwich shirts, being followed. It's a combination of zone marking and man-to-man from Leeds. In it comes from Sara, lifted to around the penalty spot. Ampadu and Rodon up there, and Rodon heads it clear. Back out to Sara, tries to get past Rutter, who'd come out to engage him. Rutter hits it against Sara, and was he brought down? He was. Sara, as Rutter got dispossessed and just wrenched Sara to the ground. So it's a free kick right by the corner flag, left-hand side, 0-0.
It's just typical forward play, being in a defensive position. First of all, he tried to take him on and probably almost nutmeg him in the corner there, and then once he's lost the ball, he's pulled him down. You know, Rutter, I don't think, has held the ball up too well already today, but that's down the other end. When you're in that defensive position, you've got to be so careful.
So a free kick for Giannoulis to maybe swinging right-footed, or it's Nunez actually that's going to take it. Very busy 6-yard box. In it comes and taken behind by Roden, is it? It's actually been cleared before it goes behind for a corner by Jorginho Rutter.
That's better. Just get rid of it sometimes.
And he did, but there was nobody in white on halfway for Leeds United, so Norwich have it back again. Sara tries to tuck it in field, but Somerville gets a brief touch. Not really seen much of Crescencio Somerville in this opening 20 minutes for Leeds United. Such an important part of their attacking philosophy, and 19 goals to his name in the Championship this season. But the ball's back with Norwich City once again, and Marcelino Nunez just at the edge of his own penalty area, and he plays it out to the halfway line. Oh, Roden stepping in well and intercepting for Leeds United. 4 to his left, he nicks it in field for the aforementioned Somerville. Somerville then gets wrestled out of it by Giannoulis. Good tenacious work from the Greek left back for Norwich City, but Leeds have it back with Glenn Kamara. Now Rutter wriggles his way through a couple of challenges, but again Giannoulis is there to win possession back. Kenny McLean works it out to the far left hand side and then back to the edge of the area. Nunez again getting involved with the 2 centre-halves for Norwich, but his ball intended for Jack Stacey is intercepted by Firpo, but he tried to cushion a header down for Gnonto on the left wing, but Firpo got it all wrong. Norwich throw, 0-0.
Yeah, Norwich just look a bit more physically at it than Leeds United at the moment. I already mentioned about how Rutter's not really holding the ball up too well. Looks like he's trying to play in third gear, whereas this game is fourth, if not fifth. And
Jonathan Rowe bursts over the halfway line for Norwich. Stacey on the overlap, but Rowe's cutting in field, trying to get past Firpo. Now Stacey's in plenty of space on the right hand side, gives it back to Rowe. Further infield to Josh Sarton, 30 yards out, drops for Nunez, who cracks one left-footed, and it goes well wide of the angle of post and bar. They're getting closer, Norwich City, it seems. 0-0 the score.
Absolutely, and mentioned about Rutter, and the same with Somerville as well. He wants too much time in the ball, whereas Norwich, when they look to attack, they're really going for it at pace, and Leeds are very much on the back foot here. When you are on the back foot, obviously you make sure you don't concede, but if they keep on conceding these chances and giving away these free kicks and corners, then surely Norwich will have a better chance at some point to get that first goal.
Meslier clears left-footed downfield, but that sails over Rutter's head, and Duffy can just cushion a header back to his goalkeeper. Norwich have been in the playoffs twice before. They won last time against Middlesbrough in the Championship playoff final in 2015, 22 years ago. For some reason I remember this. They lost at the Millennium Stadium, as it was called then, in Cardiff, to Birmingham City in the 2002 playoff final on penalties. Darren Carter and all that.
You surprised me remembering that.
Don't know where that got dredged up from in my memory banks.
You could probably still give the whole commentary of that game.
I'd get close. I remember it was gut wrench. I feel for any supporter who has to go through the playoffs. And also I'd love to know what those teams who seem never likely to ever discover what the playoffs is like, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool fans. Honestly, you've no idea. If you support one of those clubs and you wonder what the playoffs is like, what it does to your insides, you've no idea. Here's Josh Sargent for Norwich, midway through the first half at 0-0. Finds Jonathan Rowe, left-hand corner of the box, jinks his way past Gruev, across the face of goal, but nobody there in canary yellow to tuck it away, but it is retrieved on this near side of the Norwich right by Nunez. Good ball into the box. Sara tries to turn it across the face of goal, and it's Ampadu to put it behind this time. Norwich's third corner of the half, 0-0.
Yeah, great ball whipped in, but no one was there, you have to say. And again, Norwich are knocking on the door, and it was Nunez who picked up the ball. If he was able to get just a couple of yards further on, then it would have been a pretty simple 8-yard shot first time in front of goal.
Short corner, work to the right-hand corner, given back to Nunez, who's offside as he received it back. And Leeds United will get themselves a free kick. And as we mentioned, Leeds have never won in the playoffs. This is their 6th attempt. Their most recent was against Derby County, then managed by Frank Lampard. Leeds had won the first leg at Pride Park, but then were turned over, and Scott Minto was there at Ellen Road, and having scored first in the second leg, they still contrived to lose it.
Yeah, they absolutely dominated that first leg.
The foul by Rutter on Ben Gibson as he tried to turn inside his own half, and Norwich take the free kick quickly.
But again, that's where I talk about the psychology of the playoffs. You know, Leeds were the better side. Memory serves me right, they'd done the double over Derby as well, certainly won at least one of those and didn't lose to them in the league. Dominated that first leg, scored the first goal, but it's amazing how things can come crashing down really quickly.
That's the voice of Scott Minto, former West Ham, Chelsea and Benfica left back, alongside me Ian Danter here at Carrow Road. Don't forget, we've got West Bromwich Albion against Southampton in that Championship semi-final first leg. Straight after this commentary, we'll be off to the Hawthorn. Sam Matterface will still be your genial host, and Adam Bridge and Ray Houghton will be your commentary team at the Hawthorns. The Baggies against the Saints. Here at Carrow Road, 25 minutes played, still waiting for the deadlock to be broken. Norwich, who've had the lion's share of it, have possession with Shane Duffy, finds Jack Stacey just beneath our commentary position as he jogs up to the halfway line, tucks it in field for Bortha Sainz. Sainz will swing play out to Giannoulis on the left-hand side, but he can't advance because Nonto was quickly across to close him down, but Norwich have played round them a bit, and Sara now spots Jack Stacey in acres of space on this right-hand side. Can he keep it in play at the dead ball line? No, he can't. As he got to it and tried to hook it back across the face of goal, the assistant on this near side flagged for a goal kick to Leeds United. Well, penny for the thoughts of Daniel Farker right now, because coming back to his old stomping ground, his Leeds side need to get a foothold in this game.
Absolutely. You know, the stats suggest that Norwich are playing better, but you know, there's not a big gap between the two sides. The eyes are telling you there absolutely is. Leeds are not able to create too many chances going forward. They're losing the ball, not holding the ball up. Norwich look physically really up for this one, buoyed on by their crowd, of course. Created chances without being lots of clear-cut chances, and I think that's the only thing that David Wagner will be thinking. We're the better side, we need to be scoring when we're on top.
Sara took the ball away from Grief and he handled it on halfway. No yellow card from Josh Smith, but that is a free kick to Norwich just over the halfway line for the handball by Leeds United's defensive midfielder. Nunez has been wanting to take a quick one for the past 20 seconds, but then steps away so he can receive the ball back in his own half from Kenny McLean. Square ball across to his left, and Gibson for Norwich City up to the halfway line, gets his head up, looks for an option, plays a short pass into Sainz. Now Duffy has it back just shy of the halfway line for Norwich, being closed down by Somerville, and Somerville gets his foot in and wins it back for Leeds United. And now Rutter's released Gnonto, runs to the edge of the area. Great challenge coming back from Marcelinho Nunez as Gnonto looked favourite to gallop into the penalty area, and now Norwich trying to release Sargent in behind Ampadu, but the ball's got too much on it and bounces through to Meslier. 0-0.
Brilliant tackle from Nunez. You have to say it's the one moment that Leeds look really dangerous with that possible counter-attack with the pace that they've got, whether it's Somerville or Gnonto, and it was Gnonto this time. And it's one of those tackles, Dan, that if you don't get right, there's a danger. Not only would you get a yellow card, but he was falling into the box. The referee could easily have given a penalty. Perfectly timed though.
Here's Glenn Kamara for Leeds United. 28 minutes gone on TalkSport in the EFL Championship playoff semi-final first leg at Carrow Road. Norwich and Leeds locked at 0-0. Kamara again, he's got over the halfway line this time, but faced up by McLean, so he works it back to Grief, and a square ball across to Ethan Ampadu just over the halfway line into the feet of Junior Firpo, who comes in field to get away from Jack Stacey, who was tracking him. Back it goes into the centre circle for Ampadu and Roden, and now Kamara. Archie Gray is furthest forward at the moment for Leeds United. Rutter playing as the 10 just for the moment. He's all purpose, this 18-year-old, and he is just trying to play on the shoulder of Shane Duffy for the moment, Gray, as Leeds have it back on halfway with Ilya Grief. Now a run made by Rutter, not spotted. Somerville gets it back to the Leeds United defenders on halfway. They're just trying to pick their way through Norwich. They won it on a turnover to pick their way through Norwich before, but in open play Scott Minto, it's tougher for Leeds United at this point.
They're finding it very, very difficult, and Norwich without the ball are kind of like a 4-4-2, defending really well, not showing any gaps at all for Leeds United to try and play the ball into.
But still goalless. Kamara up to halfway, neat touch infield from Firpo. Noncho tries to ride the challenge of McLean, and he's got it back, and he feeds it through. Rutter trying to get ahead of Jack Stacey. Oh, he's given the chance. Oh, the flag's gone up. Firpo rolled the ball into an empty net, but the flag had gone up for offside against Jorginho Rutter to spare Shane Duffy's blushes. And Norwich survive, and after all that, Leeds very nearly profited from a mistake at the back, as Shane Duffy let the ball get away from him as he toe-poked the ball past his own keeper. But the offside flag saves him, 0-0.
No, absolutely. I have to say, really good play from Leeds. A little bit lucky early on, but there was good 1-2 touch play, and Shane Duffy has to go for it. The keeper's not coming out. He's not shouting at all, Angus Gunn. He's got to communicate better. Certainly got away with that, Norwich. It was a good decision, though. Rutter was offside.
But that will encourage Leeds United, that there's something in this game for them to take back to Ellen Road for the second leg.
But that's what they need to do, Dan. They need to get hold of the ball. They need to pass it quickly, 1-2 touch, not just lackadaisical and play in second gear. No, this is a Norwich side that they feel they need to take a lead of some sort back to Ellen Road. So they're up for it, are Leeds United, and up until that moment we haven't really seen that.
Second leg live on TalkSport on Thursday night at Ellen Road, whilst the second leg of Southampton West Brom will be on Friday night, also on TalkSport, to find out who goes to Wembley for the right to go into next season's Premier League. Here is Ben Gibson for Norwich. Half an hour gone on TalkSport, 0-0. But just that sense that Leeds United are starting to find a bit of confidence after Norwich have been very good in terms of ball retention and creating half chances in this opening quarter. Leeds have won it back again. Roden tries to get something on it, but the ball ricochets back into Norwich's path, and Sargent releases Stacey, who can gallop into the Leeds United half. Only now Firpo comes to close him down. The cross from Stacey's too deep, ahead of everybody, including Sainz, who is, I think, his target at the far post on the left-hand side, and it's gone behind. In fact, has it gone up for a throw? It has. Leeds have a throw in their right-back position, 0-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, first of all, well done Jack Stacey for finding space, but two, just an overhit ball, so a positive and a negative there. And at that particular moment, I have to see whether he's changed it, Daniel Farker. Somerville has gone up alongside Rutter, and Archie Gray has gone on to Kenny McLean, which means that Nonto was out on the left and he just let Stacey go. So that's a possibility for the fullback to try and see if he switches off all the time. Going to try and get down that right-hand side as much as possible and create some kind of assist.
Scott Minto alongside me, Ian Danter here at Carrow Road. 32 minutes gone, 0-0. Norwich in possession with Marcelino Nunez, who will roll the ball into the feet of Gabriel Sara. Good challenge from Junior Firpo, but McLean quickly onto the loose ball and trying to release Stacey down the right-hand side. He does keep it in play, but has to turn away from the dead ball line. Jonathan Rowe goes over Junior Firpo and gets a free kick for Norwich down the right-hand side of the penalty area at the River End, 0-0.
Yeah, it's a definite foul. It's not a yellow card. The way he kind of jumped up and fell to the ground, the whole crowd were probably hoping for that, but good play, you have to say, from Jonathan Rowe, but also from Jack Stacey. Again, he was very nearly in. If that ball out to the right-hand side and in behind the Leeds defence wasn't overhit, Jack Stacey would have been in behind, and he could have put in a really good ball and a really dangerous ball for Josh Sargent or anyone else who was up to get there.
Well, Gabriel Sara will whip this in, you can be sure, with pace on his left foot. So the free kick is almost level with the corner of the penalty area, maybe a yard or two down towards the dead ball line on Norwich's right-hand side as they attack the River End in this first half. Sara standing over it, two-man wall protecting Mellier's near post. In it comes from Sara, headed up and out by Archie Gray to the edge of the area. Nunez trying to make something of it for Norwich, but Glenn Kamara got something on it, and Rutter drifts out to the right-hand side, gets a foul, and it's a free kick to Leeds. I've had a message from Jeff, a friend of mine, who said, I was a Chelsea fan at Stamford Bridge when we got relegated to League Two, in a playoff against Charlton, abysmal day. So Chelsea do have experience of the playoffs.
League Two, that was
I stand corrected.
Division 2, wasn't it? Yeah, that was when what was it, third
relegated,
or fourth
and it's like what they do in Scotland still.
Absolutely.
Where teams from other divisions take each other on.
Funny enough, I was in the Charlton youth team. We played a youth game that day. We were driven in the bus in our Charlton tracksuits to Stamford Bridge to watch it. And let's just say sitting in the Chelsea, amongst the Chelsea fans, it didn't go down well. People wearing, even though we were only 16, 17, wearing Charlton tracksuits.
I'm sure you handled it. You just sat between two of the bigger fellas.
I sat between the two centre-halves.
Scott Minto alongside me this afternoon. 10 minutes to half time, just over that in actual fact. Norwich City 0, Leeds United 0. Here is Bortha Sainz for Norwich, midway point of his own half, has to guide it back to his keeper Angus Gunn. Made his Scotland debut last year. He'll be in the squad that goes with Steve Clarke and go out to Germany for next month's Euros. 11 clean sheets this season for Gunn in 40 appearances in the Championship. But it's gone down to the other end in Meslier, who's kept 18 in his clean sheets, that is, in his 44 appearances in the Championship. Still just 24 years of age, Ilan Meslier.
It's amazing to think Leeds won 27 league games and they've only won more than that in the season once, and that was Bielsa's promotion season. They're only 3 points off that total that Bielsa got, and yet still they're in the playoffs.
Firpo for Leeds United, plays the ball infield to Somerville, left-hand corner of the penalty area, tries to ride the challenge, he has done of Duffy. Somerville into the area to the dead ball line and then trips over his own feet, and the ball just goes behind into the advertising hoardings at the Barclay end, to the delight of those in green and yellow behind the goal to our left. 0-0.
Well, look, he's the EFL Player of the Year, and over a whole season it's been sensational. You mentioned 19 goals, also 9 assists. But the last few weeks he hasn't quite been at that level, and he's been very quiet today. That was the one opportunity where you're inside the box, the defender doesn't want to make a challenge for fear of giving away a penalty, and yet it goes in between his feet and goes off for a goal kick.
More live and exclusive football for you from the Premier League tomorrow night. Aston Villa against Liverpool. Villa know that Spurs won yesterday. I was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so still going to get points on the board if Champions League is to be achieved, it seems, Aston Villa. Meanwhile, Leeds coming forward with Nonto, finds Kamara right wing, pulls it back into the area, but he only found Kenny McLean. There were 4 Leeds players in the box waiting for a cross, but McLean got there first. Norwich clear up to Sargent, and Sargent with a very intelligent crossfield ball left to right to pick out Jack Stacey, who gets over the halfway line. The roar around us from the Norwich fans wanting their side to get themselves back on the front foot here. 0-0 the score. Norwich elect to go back into their own half and calm things down a little.
Yeah, right decision from Stacey. Wanted to try and push on if he could, but he looked up. It would have been forcing a ball. So again, if you can't actually try and counter-attack quickly, then just don't give the ball away, just keep it, and that's what Norwich did. Leeds
have won their last 4 against Norwich. They won 3-2 here in October. Somerville, who you just mentioned, scored twice that day, and Patrick Bamford got the winner in January at Ellen Road in the reverse fixture.
Well, I tell you what, it's the reason why Jack Stacey's doing so well at the moment. You know, though both those games Somerville was superb, and that would be in his mind, even though that was a good few sort of months ago. That would be in his mind going to bed last night thinking, right, I'm up against a guy who gave me a tough time in front. We're going to be playing in front of the cameras and the whole world watching. I mean, obviously he's an experienced guy, he knows what it's like in these situations, and certainly for promotion. But when you're up against someone you know can hurt you as a fullback, it's I bet he didn't have a full night's sleep.
7 minutes plus added time to half-time. Apparently there were fireworks outside the Leeds hotel last night, so I don't know how much sleep they got.
Yeah, a bit naughty that.
It's a bit of it's a naughty trend that's sort of creeping in more and more. Get the feeling that football teams are going to have to find an underground bunker to sleep in the night before critical matches to...
at your stance?
What, my underground bunker? They can't stay there. There's too many guitars in the way. Free kick on halfway to Leeds United. Ampadu will roll it back to Gruyev. And now Kamara gives it back to the Bulgarian. Very important signing, Ilya Gruyev. Joined from Werder Bremen. Hasn't scored for Leeds, but that's not really his job. He's very much a midfield destroyer. Now Somerville's got him behind Stacey for Lee into the area, tries to pull it back for Nonto, but Giannoulis comes across from left back and clears from the edge of the D to keep it away from Nonto. Good defending by Giannoulis. Kamara will find Junior Firpo on this near side. Archie Gray can't get past Jack Stacey. Throw in to Leeds United. 6 minutes to the break. 0-0 on TalkSport in the EFL Championship semi-final first leg. And Leeds go out to the far right hand side, and Sam Byron, former Norwich player, moves to Leeds United from Norwich last year. Began in the Leeds Academy, so he's returned to Leeds United for a second spell. Not heard many boos come his way from the home fans, as often happens when a returning player comes back. It's quite generous, and he's going to get it again on this far side of the field for Leeds United. Just steps away from Sainz and guides it back to the two centre halves, Rodon and now Ampadu. Glenn Kamara picks it up now, paced up by Gabriel Sara.
This is better play from Leeds though, just taking the sting out of the situation. You know, just trying to keep the ball. Norwich have been the better side in the first half. Look, the most likely to score, and David Wagner will be disappointed that they haven't, because they have been on top. But now that, let's say, Leeds just keeping the ball, and what happens?
They give it away. Jonathan Rowe flicks it neatly away from Glenn Kamara, and Gabriel Sara is making tracks down this near side, the Norwich right. Just slips as he tried to turn back in field. Glenn Kamara gets back at him, and then Rowe wins the ball back from Firpo, and then he's caught by Archie Gray, and Norwich have a free kick about 20 yards inside the Leeds half of the field. 5 to the break, 0-0.
That's good refereeing, I have to say. There was a couple of times where he perhaps could have given a foul, but no, he's saying it's a man's game. Let's really give it a go.
Well, Rowe's back on his feet. It's his first start for Norwich since January. 12 goals this season, a real breakthrough campaign for Jonathan Rowe from the Norwich Academy. And he's just drifting towards the edge of the penalty area. Jack Stacey standing over this free kick. He's just going to hit a diagonal ball, it seems, to the left-hand corner of the Leeds penalty area. In fact, he's just rolled it to his immediate left, and Gabriel Sara, he hits the diagonal, looking for Giannoulis on the far side of the penalty area. Lets the ball run across his body, tries to hit it in from the dead ball line, only half cleared by Leeds. Back to Nunez, just ahead of the halfway line for Norwich. Square ball back in field to Gabriel Sara in front of the centre circle. Lovely drill pass out to Giannoulis, left hand side. Early cross, deflects into the path of Sainz at the edge of the area. Was trying to engineer space for a shot for a moment, but then Nunez tries to find Jonathan Rowe with a diagonal to the right hand dead ball line. But Meslier, very comfortable claim from the Leeds keeper. Got 3 minutes of normal time to go in the first half. It's still 0-0, Scott Minto.
Yeah, Norwich have been the better side of that, there's no doubt, but they've not really created any chances, clear-cut chances.
And now Archie Gray trying to get away down the right-hand side. Just ran out of room, but he did win a throw for Leeds United. Just down the right-hand side, just before the split between home and away fans in that south stand opposite our commentary position here. Leeds heading for the Barclay end to our left in this first half. Nonto works it in field, but Norwich clear. Sara inside his own half. Glenn Kamara, great strength. Oh, he's been giving us a foul. That's a bit unfortunate for Glenn Kamara. I thought he won it cleanly, but referee Josh Smith disagrees, and he's the man in charge.
Well, I was just saying about how he was letting things go, and when I said man's game, I mean physical game. But you know, that for me was actually good physical play from Kamara. He's showed the strength there. He's won the ball. Not a foul there.
Norwich in possession with their two centre halves. Ben Gibson, son of Steve Gibson, the Middlesbrough long-standing owner. Middlesbrough at one point did have designs on a playoff push, but not quite at the end under Michael Carrick. They'll be a team to watch next year, I would say, particularly with the form of Emmanuel Latte-Lap, with the goals he got towards the end of the season. Long ball downfield is aimless for Norwich City. Just drifted straight out of play for a Leeds throw. And I'm sure Daniel Farke will be happy to get Leeds back in at 0-0 at the break. What about David Wagner's thoughts as we approach half-time, Scott?
Well, he'll be disappointed that they haven't scored and certainly created, sort of, with all the play that they've had and the passion they've showed and the intensity they've given. They haven't really tested Meslier as yet. You're right, Daniel Farke will be absolutely delighted that they're going in, or looks like they're going to go in level. They've not had a shot on target yet. They've shown at times they can look dangerous. There was that one moment where they did stick the ball in the back of the net. It was definitely right to be ruled out for offside, but Norwich have been the better side.
And Norwich clipped the ball up to halfway, but a very clever cushion header from Ilya Gruyev keeps it in play for Leeds United. Throw-in given to the away side. I think the Leeds fans opposite us wanted more than that. Thought there was a hefty challenge on Wilfred Gnonto. Nothing doing, says the referee. And Sam Byram throws the ball back into his own half for first Joe Rodon and then Ethan Ampadu. Now Firpo's got a bit of space to turn and head towards the halfway line. Plays the ball in field for Glenn Kamara, but he's been watched by Nunez. Now a diagonal ball hit into out by Ethan Ampadu, kept in play on that far side by Byram, but then there's a foul by Gnonto and Giannoulis, and Norwich get a free kick inside their own half, and a yellow card for Gnonto for having too much to say about that free kick award to the referee. Yellow card, first of the afternoon, 0-0.
He's got booked for clapping the ref. I mean, one, it was a foul, it was the right decision, but two, I don't see how that's a yellow card.
1 minute of added time is what we're into now. I saw Laurent Assignon for Burnley yesterday nearly talk himself into 2 yellow cards for dissent in quick succession. He only got the 1, but he was very lucky that some of the things he was doing behind the referee's back weren't spotted.
The officials could have told him then. Yeah.
Well, maybe, but I think they spared him.
No, look, he's obviously feeling frustrated. He's not been able to get too much on the ball. It was a foul, but it's a clap. It's a sarcastic clap. Just get on with it.
So the first booking goes the way of Wilfred Gnonto, and the minute of minimum stoppage time is just about elapsed. All eyes on Josh Smith, and there goes the half-time whistle. We're a quarter of the way through this playoff encounter between Norwich City and Leeds United, and nothing to separate them in terms of the scoreline. Norwich had the better probably of the opening 20-25 minutes, forced a few corners, but Illan Meslier never really forced into a meaningful save. At the other end, Leeds did have the ball in the back of the net when Shane Duffy and Angus Gunn got in a terrible mix-up with a back pass. Jorginho Rutter rolled the ball into an empty net, but the flag went up for offside to deny the Leeds United striker the chance to give Daniel Farke's men an advantage on Farke's return to Carrow Road. So at the break, we wait for the breakthrough in the EFL playoffs. It's not halfway line, protects it well, and he's fed it through to Sainz, who's in behind Byron, but then Byron retrieves it, and another challenge that a defender absolutely had to make, like the one that Nunez made in the first half, and Sainz looked to have broken clear, but Byron swept it away for a throw-in in the end, 0-0.
Yeah, brilliant tackle, really was. You say need to be perfectly timed. They gave the ball away, Leeds, and suddenly is Norwich on the counter-attack, and once he got into the box, from a defender's point of view, you're thinking, do I have to make this tackle? He did. It was brilliant.
Sainz in space to deliver across from the left-hand side. Good ball in, just above the head of Josh Sargent. Firpo protected the ball away from Jonathan Rowe, and Kamara will fire it left-footed downfield in front of the Leeds fans on that far side. And a poor defensive header from Duffy gives the ball straight back to Leeds in the centre circle with Archie Gray. Now Gruyev can dart up to the halfway line and stops on the halfway line before he's closed down by Sainz. Just rolls it gently back into his own half for Ampadu. Kamara out to the left-hand side, and Firpo patient once again from Leeds United. Gruyev back out to Junior Firpo on the far left-hand side. Very little of this playing surface is in shade. Just a yard or two from that far left-hand touchline is in shade. The rest bathed in this beautiful early afternoon sunshine. Meslier, dreadful ball, looking to find Roden, passed it behind his centre half. Norwich have a throw on this left-hand side, taken quickly by Sargent. Here's Sainz scampering towards the edge of the area. Ball ricochets away from him, and Leeds bring it clear. And it's a lovely layout from Somerville, who was cleaned out by Shane Duffy, and then Rowe slides in to stop Kamara getting away. But nevertheless, Jorginho Rutter continues down the inside left channel for Leeds United, drives for the byline against Stacey, and it's been given as a goal kick. And will the referee give Shane Duffy a yellow card for that earlier challenge? I think he will. He has
to. He absolutely took him out. I think he's just trying to work out now who he is and where he is. Rightly so, yellow card. But well done from him for allowing play to continue as well.
Somerville still down from that challenge, and it's a good minute, and he was cleaned out from behind by Shane Duffy, and it's only now that the Leeds physios are coming on to treat Somerville, so there'll be a little break in play. So don't forget, build up and all the action, full commentary from the Women's FA Cup final is happening right now on TalkSport 2. Jackie Oatley with all the build up, and we'll get the team news from Joe Shannon in the next 20 minutes. He'll be your match commentator for that game. 26,982 here at Carrow Road, with just a shade under 2,000 Leeds fans having coming down the A1 and across to Norfolk to support their team.
I'm sure if they were allowed, it would have been the full 26,000 Leeds fans here as well.
Oh, these are the games you could sell twice over at any stadium,
especially with a club like Leeds.
Indeed. And Ellen Road will be packed to the rafters, and that, from personal experience, is one of the noisiest places to go and watch football anywhere in this country. That'll be Thursday night on TalkSport for the second leg, whatever the scoreline is here, that is taken up to Ellen Road. Somerville back on his feet, I'm pleased to say, but having had treatment, he's now going to wait that regulation 30 seconds from the restart before he can re-enter the field of play. Yeah,
and what's been interesting as well, just in the last 3 or 4 minutes, he's been playing more centrally as well, allowing Firpo to try and get down the left-hand side, which, to be fair to Jack Stacey, he'll be absolutely delighted with that. We talked about how, he found it difficult early in the season in both matches. At this moment in time, the fullback's winning that individual battle.
Norwich City 0, Leeds United 0. 7 gone in the second half. Yanulis breaking down the left-hand side, onside, pulls it back to the edge of the area, swept wide by Gabriel Sara. Best chance of the half came to Norwich City. Yanulis broke the offside trap down the left-hand side. An intelligent pull back towards the edge of the area. Sara rushing in, tried to sweep it goalwards, but it was a yard or so wide of Mellier's right-hand post. Goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, Saints looked offside to me and down the left-hand side when the ball came, but it was a really good cutback. And well, look, your edge of the box has come at you very, very quickly. The Sara quality and the technique that he's got to be hitting the target there.
Meslier clears downfield. Duffy heads it away under pressure from Rutter. Drops on the halfway line for Leeds United and Junior Firpo. Now Kamara takes over. Somerville just ahead of him, but former Rangers man darts in field. Well dispossessed as Norwich win it back. Sargent just can't get hold of the ball as it dribbles past him over the halfway line, and Leeds once again in possession. Now Nonto is caught late, and Yanulis is going to get a yellow card. It looked like he won the ball, but he went through the man to get to the ball, I think, Scott Minto. 0-0.
Back in my day, Dance, that was a great tackle, ball and man. You can't do that nowadays, I'm afraid. And you can see exactly how Norwich are trying to defend against these wingers. They know how much they can hurt them, but he's come right through the back of him. He's not even got the ball. He's just got the man.
And there was a bit of a follow through from the right foot into the midriff of Gnonto.
Well, if you're going to just get the man and you know you're going to get booked, do it properly. He's done it properly.
Old school advice from Scott Minto on TalkSport this Sunday afternoon. Remind me not to anger you. Leeds have taken the free kick. Back to the halfway line, and Joe Rodon. And he plays the ball out to the right wing, and the former Norwich man Sam Byram cuts in field from the right-hand touchline, with Leeds attacking the river end to our right in this second period. Rodon looks up and strokes it neatly out to Gnonto, right wing, trying to hustle his way into the penalty area. Ricochet might work for Leeds United. Somerville tucks it back to Rutter at the edge of the box, but there's Ben Gibson who hooks it away, and Norwich survived temporarily. I did say that Ben Gibson was Steve Gibson's son. Of course, it's his nephew. Schoolboy error. That's my one deliberate mistake for the afternoon, he says, hopefully. Here's Rutter losing out. The ball's going to stay in play, is it? No. Rutter can't keep it in play, so Norwich have themselves a throw out on the far side. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Norwich City 0, Leeds United 0 in the playoffs, and all the gut wrench and nervous tension that they bring with them. Two finals already set up, with Bolton and Oxford in League One next Saturday. Crewe and Crawley meet a week today.
Yeah, most of that gut-wrenching tension, though, comes in the second leg, and that's why we're not really seeing it at this moment in time. And he's still reasonably cagey. It's an interesting one for Daniel Farke. Not been good enough, really, or certainly not been the better side. And when you've got the likes of Pirot and Dan James, the temptation could be to stick them on. It's not really working going forward with Archie Gray, but they haven't conceded, and they take 0-0 all day long.
Firpo looking to release Somerville down the left-hand side. He gets to the byline, tries to knock it back for Kamara with his back to goal, left-hand corner of the box.